I have went through your resume, Sai. You have worked in Wipro, isn't it, as a SOC analyst
Yes,
until 2023. Can you give me a
yes.
little background about yourself? Where did you go for college? What did you study? And how did you start your career? And how you came to be as a SOC analyst?
Yeah, I went to Gokaraju Rangaraju Institute for my engineering. I actually joined I pursued my engineering in civil engineering, but by the time I, completed my graduation, I realized that is not something I was looking forward in my life to do my whole life. Uh, that is around COVID time, I was introduced to cybersecurity. One of my mentors, he was working as a cybersecurity analyst, security architect. Like he introduced me to cybersecurity, and I was very interested in it. Like I was doing try hack me labs and all, hack the box labs, getting to know more about cybersecurity. So that is how my interest peaked in cybersecurity. So right after my engineering, I came to work as a security analyst at Wipro. So at Wipro, my roles real responsibilities included like going through the logs, SIM logs every day, and like if there's any alert generated, triaging the alert and making sure it's false positive or true positive. And if it's a true positive, I used to escalate it to the L2 team. And also I used to make sure that the logs are coming in from all the log sources properly. So, yeah.
Okay, that's nice. So it's because of your mentor you got, interest in
Yeah, yeah.
cybersecurity.
Yep.
Okay. And is Wipro your first job?
Yes, it was my first job as a security analyst.
Okay. So after Wipro, what do you do from 2023?
Like after Wipro, like there were some situations in the family that required my attention. So I couldn't, continue with my career then. But everything is sorted out now. There was a dependency on me then, but everything is sorted out now, and I would like to pursue my career in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And AI is also trending. Okay, there are a lot of AI courses, and you could narrow down your career in AI as well. But why did
Yeah.
you choose cybersecurity over AI?
Like at that time, like protecting and defending yourself from different attacks. I think that is what interested me. Like bypassing security and protecting yourself from different attacks. Like I can't explain it. I don't know, but that is what interested me.
Hmm. But isn't this a monotonous job because you keep checking only for the alerts throughout
No,
your entire?
that is just a L1 role, right? For an L1 role, yeah, it does seem monotonous at first, but as you keep learning, your responsibilities increase. Like you're not just monitoring for the logs, you're also investigating for the logs, you're also doing threat hunting. It's a constant learning process.
Okay, or you L1 or L2 analyst?
I was an L1 analyst.
Okay, how much time do you think it would take for you to become a L2 analyst?
Like I've also gone through my EC Council certificate. It's a certified SOC analyst certificate from EC Council. So I think like with my experience, I think it wouldn't take much time for me to go to L2 and start with the incident response team. So
Having said that, can you tell me the difference between L1, L2, and L3?
basically, L1 only most of the like L1 is the first defense. Like they will monitor the coming alerts. They will first triage it, and if after triaging, if the alert seems it's a positive alert, they will escalate it to the L2 team, where L2 team will take up that follow up on that alert and do the investigation based on that. And L3, I think. L3 does more deep investigation, and also they make the playbooks for the SOC team, and yeah, that's all. L3
Okay,
does the
so
more deepest investigation.
who does threat hunting? L1, L2, or L3?
I think L3 does L. I think it comes under like L2 and L3 as well, threat
Hmm.
hunting. like they take up the scenarios like it's like a IOC based threat hunting or like a hypothesis based threat hunting, and they take up the assumption and start the threat hunting.
Okay. Can you tell me any one incident which you escalated to L2 and how did that incident was investigated?
There was like a phishing alert, I investigated. Upon investigation, I could find that the attachment in the phishing email. There were some discrepancies in the phishing email, like the domain name instead of Microsoft. Like there were some spelling errors. Instead of Microsoft, it was M1 Microsoft, something like that. And I also checked for the SPF and DKM scores of the mail, and they didn't turn out to be, it didn't pass all the scores. So I thought I declared that it was a potential phishing email, and I declared it as a true positive and forwarded it to the L2 team.
Okay, and what did they do with that?
And upon their further investigation, they found that it is indeed from a malicious domain, and they blocked the domain.
Okay. And have you done trainings on security awareness about phishing emails in Wipro when you worked?
Yes.
So, what do you do with regard to phishing emails training? Did you do a tabletop exercise for the employees?
I haven't made any phishing campaigns, but I do know how the process works. Like you send phishing, you run a campaign, send emails to all the employees in the organization. Once they click on it or open it, open the link or something, they will be called to go through a certain course and come back again, something like that.
Okay. What are the common stages of a cyber attack?
Stages of a cyber attack.
Yeah. So what does a typical cyber attack follow? A structured life cycle?
Like we can go through this question like in terms of cyber kill chain. Like
yes.
First there is reconnaissance, and in reconnaissance stage, the attacker gathers all the information about the victim first, and after reconnaissance there is weaponization. The attacker develops exploit and a payload to infiltrate a victim based on the information he has gathered from the reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery. Then he delivers the payload to the victim, and execution. In like after delivery, after the payload is delivered to the victim, it executes on the victim system, and after the execution, like it will leverage a vulnerability in the victim's computer, and it will install a backdoor for itself, and that is the installation phase. And after that there is a command and control. Like he will take up the command of the he can use his skills to escalate the privileges of the user, and do what is intended to. And last one is the actions of objective. Like he wants to steal the data, or it could be a ransomware attack, or it could be just like destroying the data or something like that.
Okay, that's nice. So what's the difference between an active attack and a passive attack?
An active attack and a passive attack, I'm not sure about it actually.
Okay, have you heard about active and passive attack?
I've heard about active and passive scannings, but yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to active and passive attack, in passive attack, the attacker will only monitor. Okay, he just monitors like eavesdropping or doing a traffic analysis. Whereas in active attack, he will be directly interacting with the targeting system. For example, he can modify the data, or he will launch a DDoS attack.
Okay.
So that's passive and active. And what do you know about DDoS attack?
And DDoS is a distributed denial of service attack. Basically, an attacker has a botnet of compromised systems spread across the world, and he uses this network to launch an attack on a website, to bring down its services and harm the business significantly.
Okay. And what's the principle of least privilege?
The least privilege is anyone working in an organization should only have the privileges exactly that are required to do their job. They shouldn't have any more privileges. That will having least privileges will significantly reduce the attack surface, attack probabilities. If a person having like admin privileges where he doesn't need to, when in case of an compromise, that admin privileges can be utilized by an attacker to get more information. It will lead to more damage.
Okay. And having talked about the privilege, what are the different authentication methodologies that we have today?
In multi-factor authentications, that they include like something we have, something we know, and something we are. Something we have is like a phone that we have, it will send us a code on our phone. Or something we know is, you can say it's like a password, or a question. There's a question for you and you answer the question, something like that. And something we are could be a fingerprint or a eye scan or something like that.
Okay. And do we implement multi-factor authentication for all the roles or for all the access control?
It is recommended practice, but you can implement it for the critical systems first and then go on from that.
Okay, so how did it work in Wipro?
We did have multi-factor authentication everywhere, to be honest.
Okay. And what's the difference between authentication, authorization, and accounting?
Authentication, authorization, and accounting. Whenever you log in, you have to authenticate that he is indeed the person he is claiming to be. That is authentication. And authorization is what the person is authorized to do with that role. With that login, you can write files, or edit files or delete files, whatever he is authorized to do for that role. And accounting is I'm sorry, I can't recall it right now. I do know the AAA thing, but AAA framework, but I can't recall it right now. Sorry.
Okay, accounting is what the user did with his access control.
Okay.
So yeah, that is also very important, isn't it?
That's a part of non-repudiation, right? He cannot claim that he hasn't done something he has done. So.
Exactly. So that's the reason we track even every access and every activity that's done by the admin as well. Okay. And in your resume, I see that you have done threat detection and response, where it says that you did a malware and phishing analysis.
Yeah.
And you also do log analysis and correlation, threat hunting, IOC, MITRE attack, and OWASP.
I helped in threat hunting and log correlation rules and all. I helped with I worked with my L2 team. I couldn't do it myself. I worked with my L2 team.
Okay, you were supporting them.
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain MITRE attack, please?
MITRE attack framework. It's a knowledge base, that tells us about the adversary tactics and techniques, that are used by the attacker in a real world observations. It will help us, fight back the attacker in a much better way. It talks about different techniques the attacker can, adapt to. There's initial access, this privilege escalation, lateral movement, defense evasion. Talks about all these techniques and subnet techniques, which will help us, stop the attack.
Okay. Can you tell me the difference between TCP and UDP in networking?
TCP stands for Transport Control Protocol, Transmission Control Protocol, and they're both transport layer protocols, TCP and UDP. And UDP stands for user datagram protocol, whereas most often we use TCP when we need a reliable communication channel, reliable connection. If during a connection, if there's any packet loss, or something like that, TCP can, bring back, will help us get the packets back to us. Whereas in UDP, UDP is fast, but it cannot, it is not reliable. It cannot bring back the lost packets. Like TCP is like you are watching a video on a YouTube, something like that, and when there's a network interruption, it loads and starts back the same point where it stopped. Like there is no packet loss. But whereas in UDP is like a live stream, something like that. You're streaming and there's a packet loss. Whatever the packet loss is there, that moment has passed and it cannot bring back the packets back again. Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So what's used in web browsing, TCP or UDP?
TCP.
And what's used in gaming or voice calls?
Yeah, that would be UDP.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. And what do you know about DNS and why is it important?
DNS is a domain naming system. DNS maps the domain names to the IP addresses. Like when you search for like whenever a person is searching for facebook.com, like the browser doesn't actually know what facebook.com is, so it will go to the root server and it will ask for who has this where is the IP of this domain, and it will retrieve the IP and it will connect us to the facebook.com. So that's how it works, and DNS works on port 53.
Okay, and why is it important?
It is important, so it will help us in the name resolution of the domains. You cannot actually remember all the IP addresses you want to communicate with, right? It will help us connecting to the IPs.
Okay, and what if you don't secure the DNS? What will happen?
Secure the DNS. Like there's multiple attacks that are related to DNS as well, like DNS poisoning could happen. Like an attacker could poison the DNS records, and when you are asking for a legitimate site, it can redirect it to a attacker's malicious site. That could happen. That is and that's why we need to secure it. And attacker can also exfiltrate data using DNS tunneling. Like the client could be sending so many DNS requests, whereas actually what's happening is attacker is trying to exfiltrate the data from your system to his system.
So can we say DNS spoofing, DNS hijacking, and cache poisoning all happens?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the reason why we need to secure DNS. And how do you secure DNS?
Secure DNS. Sorry, I don't have an idea.
Okay, so you can secure DNS using DNS security extension. Have you heard about that? DNSSEC?
No.
Okay, you can study that maybe later. So okay, DNS security extension, where you restrict the zone transfers and you keep monitoring the traffic for any suspicious activities.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's the DNS spoofing?
DNS spoofing, yeah, like I said, he will the attacker can change the records, and use his domain in place of a legitimate domain, and you will be, when you are searching for the legitimate domain like facebook.com, he will spoof the IP address of the facebook.com to his malicious IP address, and you will be redirected to a different page, something like that.
So that's why we need to secure DNS, which should not happen. And what are the ports and protocols in networking? First of all, what's a port and what's a protocol?
A protocol is a set of rules, that need to be followed for different kinds of communications, like UDP or TCP. They're different protocols. They have different functionalities and all. And port numbers, I think port numbers are numbers that are assigned to the different protocols. Like TCP, like UDP has a. Sorry, I'm not sure what a port is. Can't define it, but I don't know the port numbers for different.
You understand protocols. The concept, okay. So ports are the logical endpoints which will be used by protocols for data transmission between applications. Are you aware what port is used by HTTP and what port is used by HTTPS?
Yeah, HTTP uses port 80, And HTTPS, secure version of HTTP, uses 443.
Okay, and FTP?
And FTP uses port 21, and SSH uses port 22, and like SMTP uses port 25.
Yeah. And what do the cyber attackers do with these ports?
Like the cyber attackers, scan for the open ports, so they can initiate a connection to the client, the system.
Okay, so that's why we have to monitor these ports continuously.
Yeah, we have to make sure that all the unused ports are closed properly, and only that require, according to the like business requirements, you need the ports to be open or closed.
So usually these cyber attackers will see what are the ports open, and they will try to map it to find the vulnerabilities, and that's why they are going to exploit the system. Okay, and what's a firewall zone?
Firewall zone.
Okay, what's a firewall?
Firewall is a device or software that monitors the traffic coming in and going out of the network based on the predefined rules. I know it can also block the traffic.
Correct. So now these firewalls will categorize network traffic into different zones based on the trust levels. So that's why you call that as a firewall zone. And are you aware of the different firewall zones?
No, I'm not aware. I'll look into it.
Okay. The inside zone, which is the trusted internal network, and then the DMZ, the demilitarized
zone. I do know about the DMZ. Like, the DMZ is, exposed to the external network.
And the outside zone as well. That's the untrusted external network. But whereas DMZ is not completely an outside network, but it's a semi-trusted area where you host public serving devices. I mean, public facing services like your web service or mail service. Okay. And can you tell me what you know about incident management?
Incident management. Like, are you like asking about the incident?
Security incidents, yes.
Security incident
life cycle, exactly.
Life cycle, okay. So in security life cycle, like there's like 6 stages, 6 phases of the security incident life cycle. Like first stage is preparation. Like in the preparation phase, you like hire a team, define the roles for the members of the team, and set up tools in that for the team. And in the identification phase, the second phase is identification phase. You look for the anomalies or the malicious activity and confirm the incident going on in the network. And the third phase is containment, and in containment you like isolate the affected system, and you can also block the IPs or the whatever the IOCs that are discovered in the containment phase. And after containment, there is eradication, like you remove the malicious software or a malware and clean your systems. And in recovery phase, you in recovery phase, you restore the data and monitor for the activity after the incident has happened. And the last phase is I think the last phase is lessons learned. Like after everything has happened, what have we learned from this incident, and how can we improve our defenses better?
Okay. And have you come across any incident management at work?
Incident management? No, I don't think I've come across any.
Okay. So how many false positives and how many true positives would you analyze on a given day at work?
Like, I can't remember the exact number, but whenever the false positives, you get false positives, we would take it up with L2 and discuss in fine-tuning the thresholds, fine-tuning the correlation rules. That's what we used to do.
Okay. And has there been an incident where you wrongly identified true positive as false positive?
No, not for me.
Did it happen with your friend or your team members?
No, I don't recall. Like,
You
I don't
don't.
think anyone has done that. Like true positive as false positive. Like we do have like playbooks. We follow the playbooks and do whatever is advised in the playbooks. And no, I don't think so.
You haven't. Okay. Let's talk about a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Let's imagine that you have identified a true positive as a false positive. What would you do in that situation?
Okay. True positive as a false positive.
Hmm.
hmm Like uh, like did I realize it afterwards that I have done this thing wrong?
Yes.
Okay, after realizing it, I will, contact my team lead or the L2 team. Like I have done a mistake and I have to, rectify it. So I will contact my team and, ask for their advice on how to, sort it out and all. Like I
Okay.
have to report it firstly, to be honest.
Hmm.
Like uh, whatever delay you make,
Hmm.
you are giving more time for the, attacker to be staying in the network and do whatever he wants to do.
Hmm.
First, we have to report it. Yeah.
Okay. And then reporting, of course, you have to do. Otherwise, you're going to catch you.
Yeah. And, go through that investigation again, like where did I do wrong and investigate it properly. Like if the IP is coming, like whatever the playbook says,
Hmm.
you have to investigate it properly then.
Okay. And you will, of course, learn your lesson, isn't it? Why it
Yes,
happened. And
obviously. That
you
would be
ensure that it
a very
doesn't
grave
happen.
mistake, to be honest.
Correct. So it doesn't happen, but what if it happens? We need to be prepared for that as well. It
Yeah.
also demonstrates your integrity towards work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have you done malware analysis? Your resume mentions that you have done a malware analysis.
Yeah. I have done you know, some sort of like a static malware analysis only,
Mhm.
to be honest. Yeah.
And what steps was involved in your malware analysis?
Like like in any phishing email, you find a malicious file, something like that. You take that file and, put it in a sandbox and
Mm.
run the file and see what's happening. Like you can use sandboxes like cuckoo sandbox or hybrid analysis, any run, and see what the malware is doing in the sandbox, observe its behavior.
Okay. So is that what you did at work? Malware
Yeah.
analysis?
Yeah. Only
Okay.
some parts of it, but I didn't I wasn't only focused on that. Mostly I was, L1 analyst. Triaging and escalation was my part mostly.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what's a malware and what are its types? How do you define a malware?
The malware is a malicious software, uh, you know that is used by an attacker to gain access or establish a foothold into in the victim's computer. And types of malware, like there are different types of, like there's viruses, there's worms, and there's trojans, and yeah, that,
Okay. And
uh,
what's the difference between a virus and a Trojan?
like a virus uh, is a malicious software like that is installed on a system and only acts when the user interacts with it.
Hmm.
Only after an interaction it will execute. But
Hmm.
whereas a Trojan, it appears to be benign at first, but after a time it will execute itself in the victim's
Okay.
computer.
Okay. And do you know the life cycle of a malware infection, how it happens?
Life cycle of malware infection. Uh, I'm not sure how to answer that. Like,
Okay, when a malware is delivered via email to a system,
yeah,
what
yeah,
happens later on? First is a delivery step. The second one, what
yeah.
happens?
The second one, after delivery, like the malware will, no, yeah, launch the payload into the system first.
Yeah, it
It will,
executes.
yeah, it executes. After
Okay.
execution, like
Hmm.
it will set up a command and control so the attacker can interact with it, keep in doing what he's doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and after the attacker the malware can also after the setting up the command and control, the attacker can use that command and control features, and he'll be able to persist in the network for longer time. Like he can set up a new user, something like that, or add that user to the different groups or something like that, and that will help him to persist in the network for longer time. And like he can also use that malware command and control malware and command and control to exfiltrate data or encrypt data, like a ransomware attack or something.
So first the
Yeah,
malware is delivered, okay,
yeah.
and then it executes, and then it persists, meaning the malware ensures it runs even after reboot, okay,
Yep.
and then it will do privilege escalation. It will gain higher level access for deeper control.
Yeah.
Then is what will happen, which you mentioned. It connects to command and control
Command and control.
service. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it executes the payload. So understanding this life cycle of malware will help us to detect and break the attack chain.
Cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. And what are the different tools that you are familiar with, the SIM tools?
SIM tools mostly while working at Wipro, we were completely focused on Splunk SIM tool.
Okay. And what do you know about Splunk? Can you explain the architecture of Splunk?
In Splunk, we have forwarders, and there's two types of forwarders, like a universal forwarder and a heavy forwarder. Universal forwarder, collects the logs from, I mean, it sends the logs from the system to the indexers. And universal forwarders are lightweighted, and there's heavy forwarders. Heavy forwarders collect the logs and send to the indexers, but heavy forwarders here also parse the logs. That is the difference between the universal and heavy forwarders. And after that, there is indexers, where
Mhm.
all the collected data is indexed, so which will be easier for us to interact with the data, know the data. And after the indexers, there is a search head, where you can like search for the logs.
Okay. All right. And what do you know about EDR?
Yeah, EDR is endpoint detection and response. EDRs have agents that are installed on the endpoints. They are basically used to monitor all the endpoint devices, monitor and detect any malicious activity on the endpoints.
And how do they work, EDRs?
Like they have these agents, or in case of CrowdStrike, they have these sensors that are installed on the endpoints, which gather the all the system logs and everything from the EDR to I mean endpoint. They will send all this data to the console, like where you can access all these things, logs.
Okay. So first, it will do data collection, isn't it?
Yes.
And then real-time threat detection.
Yeah.
And then the incident investigation. Then automated response if it's required.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard about endpoint hardening?
Endpoint hardening.
Hmm.
Yes, I did. You block the ports, or for the endpoint, something like that.
So it is basically reducing the vulnerabilities and you minimize the attack surface by
Yeah,
securing the endpoints. Yeah.
yeah.
And any techniques that you remember for endpoint hardening?
Endpoint hardening techniques.
Blocking the unused services and ports, that's one.
Yeah, making sure the updates are properly done on time,
Hmm.
and blocking the unnecessary IPs that
Hmm.
the user can access. And yeah, that's all I can.
Okay. You can also apply least privilege
Least privileges. Yeah.
principle. Yeah. You can restrict the USB and the external device access. You can enforce multi-factor authentication, strong passwords. Even 2FA is one
Mm.
of the techniques to secure your endpoint. Okay, that was a nice discussion with you, Saran. So you have gap of 3 years now. What did you do in those 3 years to upskill yourself? And did you keep yourself updated in cybersecurity?
Like the first 2 years, like I couldn't say, I mean, I can't say I was, doing anything related to cybersecurity, but later on, I logged into my TryHackMe account. I took my membership back and I started working, doing the learning things and doing the rooms and all. And also after that, after like I felt like I was ready to take a certification, I took the CSA certification from EC Council last year. Yeah, like
Okay.
I was preparing to come back to cybersecurity.
Okay. And how do you keep yourself updated now after the certification? What all do you do to keep yourself updated?
Like uh, in learning wise, I use different websites like Let's Defend or Try Hack Me, Hack the Box. Like if you're asking about the news regarding the cybersecurity news and all, like I followed different newsletters from like DFIR report or like Metasploit newsletters and all. And like also like I follow some pages like Curbs on Security newsletters and all. That's how I keep myself updated.
Hmm. Okay. And
Uh,
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
like I had this vision when I was working at Wipro as well. First, I wanted to gain the technical knowledge of the cybersecurity, and then I wanted to work my way through risk compliance and governance GRC. To be honest,
Hmm. Oh, you're interested in GRC as well.
yes,
Okay, but do you understand that cybersecurity and GRC are two different verticals?
yeah, there are two different verticals, but there you can in GRC, you are basically, assessing the risk for the organization and making compliance, whatever you are obligated to comply with. And,
Hmm.
you know, but it is a part of cybersecurity, right? I don't think it is a different thing.
So what does GRC do?
Like risk management,
Hmm.
compliance. Yeah.
So it's more about governance. It's not
Yeah.
that you will be doing all the technical implementation work. It's rather
Yeah.
more non-technical. If
Yeah.
you have a technological background, it will help you help the implementation team,
Okay.
but it's totally different.
Okay.
Yeah, but wish you the very best. You can think about what you want to do and hope you take a better decision based
Okay.
on your interest. Both are different, cybersecurity and GRC. But I wish you the very best in your future, Sharon.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.